What's up, everyone? Orange County was minutes away from a full 3 points over the weekend against El Paso Locomotive. But as we've witnessed pretty much the entire season, they dropped points in the closing minutes while in the lead. And we're going to talk about that plus a little bit more on tonight's episode. This is the Orange Black SoccerCast.
This is the Orange and Black SoccerCast, the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. Follow us on Twitter at OCSC_SoccerCast or on Facebook at Orange and Black SoccerCast.
How's it going, Orange County? Welcome to another episode of the Orange and Black SoccerCast, the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. I'm your host, Ray Samora, and I am going to be taking you through this journey this week as we discuss Orange County Soccer Club's struggles this season with maintaining and holding on to points late in matches. Before we get into that discussion, though, let's welcome you to everyone that is part of this podcast. First, we're going to go to the man from County Line Coalition, the infamous Dylan Allen from County Line Coalition. Dylan, how are we doing, my man?
We're doing well, but is that too on the nose? I mean, I don't want to get us into any more trouble. Whatever. I'm well. I'm happy to be here. Happy Tuesday or whatever time you happen to be listening to this if you're not watching live. And I hope you like staring at my face for those of you watching the stream, because this is just great. Some more outlets.
I just had to mess with you a little bit there, Dylan. We also got down south in San Diego, the man who runs the world of USL podcasting. That is Alan Underwood. Alan, how we doing, my man?
Oh, good. Runs the world. That's great. No, things are going all right. What's up, Andy? I was very entertained on Friday night. I thought it was a good match, and I can't wait to talk about the good things and maybe some of the not so good things. But I think the future is looking up for Orange County, and I can't wait to break some of this stuff down.
Definitely, and we will do that. But last but not least, we got to bring on the newest member of our team who's been here since the beginning of the season. He's been a guest in the past as well. He's a man that knows how to count the cards. So if you're going to go up to his neck of the woods, bring him along, you'll win big bucks. That is Brad in Reno. Brad, how you doing, my man?
We may win big bucks, but we'll definitely spend the night somewhere that you won't want to spend the night. I'm good. That
sounds a little scary there. Say hi to Dylan's hand, by the way, as we bring him on the screen. Oh, man. For those that aren't watching the video portion of this, they're going to not know what we're cracking up about here. But how are we all feeling, gentlemen, after another match of drop points? We're going to get into the details of that, but I just want to get your quick thoughts on that. I'll go to you first, Dylan. Orange County up 2-1 in, I believe, the 89th minute, concede a goal to drop at least 2 of the points. They could have had a full 3 points. Now they walk away with only 1 point. We talked about in the past too about we'd rather see them on the road. I don't know. Maybe they would have had a better outcome if this was in El Paso. What are your quick thoughts on that? I know I just said a whole bunch and I said quick thoughts. Go for it.
No, we don't want this match to be in El Paso because I don't think El Paso has lost at home in over 2 years at this point. So this game is not even a 2-2 draw in El Paso. It's probably like a 4-0 loss. But can you say that performance was any different than what we saw 2.5-3 weeks ago? No. Stepping way too deep within our own box and giving up a goal from 18 yards out, giving all the time and space to an attacker for that, and then conceding a late on. Nothing's changed, baby.
So then I take it you're not going to agree with Alan that the future's looking up when he says that comment, or do you agree with what he's trying to say there?
Well, I don't think it's that simple to say it's a yes or no. I think, this was a better performance because it was against El Paso, but at the same time, we threw away points at the very end. So 6-1.
Your quick thoughts and your thoughts on what Dylan had to say, Alan.
I don't necessarily think the future is looking bright because I think the future is looking bright because Thomas Enevoldsen is back. Seth Kasipli's coming back. Ugo Coley scored, which means if he can get going, Dylan apparently doesn't like his beverage. If Ugo Coley can get going, I think there's elements of this.
What you miss out on if you're not watching our video stream of this, I tell you, if you get a chance, come check it back out. Like the 5 minute and 45-second portion of our live stream. Watch it on YouTube. Watch it on our Facebook chat page. Watch it on our Twitter page. Continue, Alan, if you can remember where you left off.
No, I just think there's guys coming back that are going to make a positive, that are going to be able to change a game that you've kind of. So I don't necessarily think the future is looking bright just because of this game and or a coaching change, but I think getting some of these guys back down the stretch is going to be huge for an Orange County team that's been kind of struggling.
Perfect. And I'm going to go to you, Brad, to give your thoughts on just sort of where Orange County is. But first, we got to play a quick game because this just happened out of nowhere. Our game's going to be Guess Dylan's Drink. And I'll go to you first, Brad. And then we'll let Dylan share what the drink was that he was drinking. What do you think his drink was that he made that face to, Brad?
I think the odds-on favorite would be Cameron's favorite drink, yerba mate. However, with that said, what's that kombucha stuff? Dylan's probably drinking like a hard kombucha.
You could tell Brad doesn't live in Orange County. Okay, so Brad says kombucha, I guess, is what his pick's going to be. Alan, what is your guess?
Was what my instinct was going to be, some type of like hipstery, like kombucha type of fermented goodness. I don't know. That would be my guess too.
Oh, was it good?
That's when you know it's a mainstream drink instead.
Here's my guess. My guess is Diet Right and pickle juice. Who was right, Dylan?
Right. That's
who was the closest?
That's the most egregious of the three. No, this was an amber ale from
something like normal to drink.
Yeah, from
don't say what it is because now we don't have any chance of getting them to sponsor us, Dylan.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't think I want that. From La Quinta Brewing Company out. They're apparently independent. But
part of the hotel chain.
This was a gold medalist in 2017 for the best of craft beer.
See, that's why you got to be drinking what I'm drinking, Guavana Unana. That's what you got to be drinking right now. Let's get back to this Orange County soccer stuff because I don't think people are listening to us to guess Dylan's drink. Let's get into this match. Let's talk about it. The first thing I want to ask really quick, and this is the big question, is how the heck was an El Paso player at the top of the box with the ball for what seems to be like 10 seconds, giving him time to shoot? What happened there? I'm going to go to you first, Brad, since you haven't got to speak about this match yet. What happened in that moment? How does that happen?
I mean, it's kind of that park the bus thing that we keep talking about, that the team seems to be comfortable up a goal late in the game, and someone just kind of loses a player at the top of the box. It's just not playing the full 90 minutes that we need to be worried and cautious about. With that said, I thought the Orange County team, especially the second half of this game, had a really good half and was actually very promising with a couple of goals that game from Okoli and Damas.
Let me go to you, Dylan, because you had mentioned, or I think it was you, Dylan, or maybe it was Alan. I can't remember. You two look so familiar or so alike. Dylan, what is it like to see Ugo get a goal into the back of the net, get the ball into the back of the net? And is this the beginning of a run for him, or is this sort of an outlier that we're gonna look back on and say, what happened? Why didn't this keep going?
I'm going to say it's less about him putting the ball in the back of the net and more about what he does after he puts the ball in the back of the net, which is, for the first time in history, runs around the goal to celebrate kind of with, but in front of the County Line Coalition. Like, that felt really good. Can I correct you really quick, Dylan? And it was to us, because I know Harry Forster did a little Ronaldo-esque kind of thing, or fist pump or whatever, but that, not Ugo was looking at us.
Can I do a quick correction though
for
for you,
us.
Dylan?
Sure.
You said
go
this
ahead.
like for the first time in forever, but I do recall very recently an opponent did that. So it's not the first time in forever that someone went and celebrated with County Line Coalition.
Yes, let's talk about that match. No, I think this is a different Ugo Okoli from the one that we saw at the beginning of last season, or even at all in last season. He seems like he's really happy to be here, which is good, obviously. But he seems like he's loving playing in front of the fans, and I mean, he worked so hard. He was our primary output, and I mean, I'm pretty sure the directions were clear. It was find Ugo. If your name is not Ronaldo, find Ugo and or Brian, and then run off of him and create something from there. And he did that really well. He was tracking back and defending really well. He had a really great night. And I hope a lot more of it is to come.
So for those watching the live stream with us, we are watching the highlights of this match, and we saw Orange County had an opportunity to go up 3-1 late in the match, and were unlucky to see the ball hit off looked like the corner of the crossbar in the post. Alan, if that goal goes into the back of the net somehow, is this match over, or is it Orange County still struggles to hold on to points? Are we still worried at that point?
I think at that point, up 2 goals, you have to feel really good about securing the 3 points. I think that was a pretty big moment for Orange County. I think offensively, I thought they played better than El Paso for most of the night. I think they put El Paso under a lot of pressure. I think Ugo Okoli, who likes fireworks, by the way, found that out on Friday night when I went to interview him, and he was like, I was like, do you want to wait for the fireworks to go? He's like, yeah, low-key, I kind of want to watch them. So he enjoys fireworks. And he enjoys fireworks in the game and after the game. I do think, Dylan, I agree that he feels like he fits in the system. I think he feels comfortable here. Offensively, I kept telling Chad, even when Orange County was down 1-0, it's like Orange County's still in this match because you have Ronaldo. Like, that guy is all you need is one moment of brilliance, and the score is tied. You've seen this multiple times with him. He is a absolutely special player. So if you're within striking distance of a team, a goal, you're going to get something special out of Ronaldo, and he can get you points in the playoffs. He can get you back into a game where maybe you're down 1, you get him scoring, and you're fighting maybe on the road for PKs, and he's going to be the guy to get you there. Or you're tied, and he's going to be the guy to get you over the line. Defensively, I mean, the first goal, it was just poor positioning around the box. I think McCabe got pulled out of position trying to defend the cross. The cross made it over, and Orozco just didn't step up. He just kind of hung back. McCabe was just a step too late. And that's the difference in the sport, where positioning matters a huge deal. And I think with the second goal, the same thing. I think it was just slightly out of position. You pull defenders slightly out. Maybe Alston slips, I think, is what someone said as well. And just those little hiccups, and a team like El Paso can make you pay. A good save, it's just an unfortunate bounce right to an El Paso player. And we've talked about this before with the beautiful game. Sometimes you get those bounces in the box like you did against San Diego, and sometimes you don't against a team like El Paso. And really that was the difference. It's just a ball bouncing 6 inches too far one way, and a guy just gets a head on it, and you drop points at home. But yeah, Orange County, I thought, should feel good about this game. I thought they played overall a good match, and I almost said the wrong coach's name. Coach Chaplow said, look, a couple little missed spots here and there and things that we can fix, but we played El Paso off the park, and I don't think that's entirely inaccurate. I think he nails it. They played El Paso off the park, but ultimately 2-2.
So let me go to you, Brad, because you mentioned before we went live that there's a player on Orange County that's sort of making you eat your words, and shows in this match. That's Eric Calvillo. Am I saying it right? I'm probably butchering that. I butcher everything. But let me ask you this: like, what are your thoughts when you see the way he controlled that ball? I believe it was Ronaldo that gave him that pass. a little bit behind him, but somehow, some way, he uses some fancy footwork, gets that ball under control, dribbles down, and then repays Ronaldo with a nice cross to set up that first goal. How impressed were you by that? And did you see anything like that when you watched him up there in Reno?
No, I was definitely impressed with him during that moment, mostly because I haven't seen that in the past. And I've been wondering, because the Earthquakes have always been high on him. He's one of their homegrown talents, I believe. Someone that they've kind of brought up and kept around for a long time. And I've never seen anything out of him that I've been truly surprised or amazed with. And this season, I think he's been a very consistent player for Orange County in ways that he's never been for Reno when he was on loan up here. And during that game, I thought if that one goal went in off the free kick that hit the post, because that was his free kick, we'd be talking him MVP over Okoli. And I think he had a very good game. And this whole season, he's been silently one of the better midfielders Orange County has fielded.
Yeah, has to be disappointing that free kick from just outside of the box doesn't go in late in the match, because again, that sets up a whole different outcome for the ending there. You're not only up one and sort of trying to just avoid the mistake, which it seems that's what Orange County is. I think Alan's the one that brought this up, that it's sort of Orange County, or maybe Brad did. I can't remember who did. You all look alike. But Orange County goes up, and for some reason they like to sit back and they like to just sort of protect and not keep the pressure going. I think the thing that's difficult about this club, and it's been like this now for a few seasons, right, is they put the pressure on early and they potentially get a lead or whatever, and then they let off the gas. And I feel like if they would just keep that pressure going a little bit longer, they'd get bigger leads, and then we're not talking about them dropping points late in the match, because if you're up 2 or 3, you're not worried about dropping points. Now, I know there's always the chance that the opposite happens, is you keep that pressure on, you make a mistake, and the other team scores. But I said this in the past with Coach Braden Cloutier, with sticking to a game plan that obviously hadn't been working. I know you all know my argument for Aiden Quinn last season, that he needed to be played farther up the pitch because we were struggling to score goals and we needed that creativity up there. And I was very harsh on that. I'm saying we need to move him up there. We need to make that change. Well, this is another change that I'm looking at now that I'm seeing repeatedly happening is we're conceding those goals because we're sort of sitting back and trying to absorb that pressure from the other team and just hope. So going for that bend, don't break sort of performance there. And it's just not working out. Am I being a little bit harsh on that when I look at it that way, or am I on the right track, Dylan?
It's a mid-season coaching change, so you can't change the system unless you expect something then it does break. Basically, these players are bought in to do a specific job. But you're saying change the system. You're saying you can't change the system, but it's not like we're saying change something completely. It's just saying don't take your foot off the gas so early. Keep that pressure on a little bit longer. You're not having to go with a whole new game plan. You just stick with the game plan that you started with that got you that 2-goal lead, and go with it a little bit longer instead of sitting back and dropping back a little bit more. It's not changing a system, Dylan. It's just keeping that original game plan going a little bit longer, or what got you that lead going a little bit longer. I'm not sure that works when you only, 3 weeks ago we had 4 fit defenders, 5 fit defenders, something like that. We were playing a center back as a left back. And I think ultimately is bodies, especially here in Southern California, where that field is like playing on cement. It's like playing on carpet on top of cement. Your body will not survive that over the course of a 30-game season or a 35-game season. Not with the travel that they have to do elsewhere. So I don't think it's physically possible for a squad of 25 to play that way. I think you have to play on a smaller field. You
can't just run the players. You can't run the players on high press every 90 minutes of every match.
No, not unless they're not with the short season, not with the short rest that they have, not with the travel that they have. If it's a little group where they're traveling to LA and San Diego, all right, sure. You can probably run them a little bit harder in that sense. If they're playing once a week, then yeah, absolutely. But there's a lot of minutes on a lot of those leagues. Like Brian Olowski plays nearly every minute of every game, and it's a high intensity role for him. If you ask him to work any harder, he's going to break. And we've seen countless other players make it to a point where they break. Thomas Yule Nielsen was probably the first one to break, where he did his meniscus in pretty early in the season and continued to play on it because he was asked to. Like other ones, Michael Seaton hurt his ankle in 2018. Took an injection, continued to play on it there. It's a common thing. I mean, Thomas, Voldson had it happen to him earlier this season. Seth Kasipli, that could be another thing where you just get unlucky. I mean, Christian Duke is probably the most unlucky one to ever happen. You can't work guys that hard and not expect their bodies to fall apart. And we had a hard enough time 3 weeks ago fielding a full team. I mean, we put 6 subs out most of the time. If you run them any harder, you're going to have like 3 subs. It's going to be the academy team out there, and then you're ruining the careers of a bunch of 16-year-old kids.
Let me jump to another question to you, Alan, but you can chime in on this one as well. But I want to throw in another question that I'm reading on social media. A lot of fans of Orange County, they are now, it seems to be getting to the point where they're frustrated or over the Tommy McCabe experience with Orange County. I've read on social media blogs that fans are getting frustrated with his performance, that he just looks like he's lost out on the pitch, but yet Orange County continues to put him out there. And I think a lot of people were under the impression he was here on a loan, so maybe there was some sort of minutes requirement or something like that. But from what we know, he's here. He was signed. He's on a contract with Orange County, so there's none of that. So, A, do you see that same type of disappointing play from Tommy McCabe? And B, if that's the case, what's the case that can be made for him still getting big minutes with Orange County this season?
I mean, I think his recent run of form has not been particularly inspiring. But I think if you go back and watch some of the earlier season matches, he does quite fine. Like he's not going to be the best player on the pitch. But I think maybe if you run back some of those games where earlier in the season, the month of July, that's what 7 is. The month of July, I think he's fine in the middle. I think this might be he's just in a poor run of form right now. Maybe his legs are a little bit tired. Maybe he's being asked to have more responsibility now in a newer lineup and a newer approach, where he maybe was a little bit more protected earlier in like a 4-4-2-ish, 4-2-3-1-ish, and it's looked like more like a 4-3-3 of late. So maybe he just feels a little bit out of sorts and trying to find his legs. I don't think it's time to give up on him yet. I think maybe a rest because he's played a whole bunch. Maybe get a chance to have a week off and relook at some film and kind of refocus. I think that there's something there that I think we can rediscover. But yeah, I don't think it's time to give up on him yet. He's an easy whipping post right now with the game he had this past Friday. That kind of, I think, colors the negativity. But maybe go back and watch Orange County Sacramento on the 24th, Orange County Oakland, Orange County Phoenix. I think you see a slightly better performance from that. And this is going to happen. You're going to have dips of form. Guys aren't going to be 7s and 7.5 performances all season long. Even from Friday, like how many shots on goal did El Paso have in the second half? Anyone know? Anyone want to take a guess?
22.
1.
Oh,
one
okay.
shot
Sorry,
on
I
goal
was wrong.
the entire second half, right? So like even this feeling of like, oh, we gave up this late goal. It's like Orange County defended really well to keep El Paso one shot on target. And the shot on target, they beat. They beat the goalkeeper. They got a goal. They tied it. But like I think before the match, you're like, hey, we're gonna hold El Paso to one shot on goal for the entire second half. Everyone's taking that, right? So I think the result colors the view of the game. If you take away, I'm going to borrow a Landon Donovan phrase. If you take away the result and look at the process and look at the way they played, I think people are going to be happy with the way Orange County played, both offensively and defensively. 5 shots, 3 shots on target. El Paso was just really efficient. Orange County made some soccer plays. El Paso made some other soccer plays. But really, the second half, one shot on one shot total, not even just one shot on target, one shot total. I think that there's something there that Orange County's been missing. It's just that now they have to tighten up those few small mistakes versus some bigger mistakes from earlier in the season.
All right. And it seems like Alan's trying to turn this into a San Diego podcast here by quoting Landon Donovan. Let me go to you, Brad. I'm going to give you free reign. Speak with, say whatever you want to say about this match.
I'm going to agree with Alan on the Tommy McCabe thing. You know, he's one of the few players for Orange County who's been on the field pretty much almost every game. I don't remember a time where he had a break. He's been there. He's been doing it all. He's had a couple really good games, like that Phoenix game. You know, you go to Phoenix and you get a result on the road, and you're in the game for most of it. You know, yeah, we let in a lot of late goals. Yeah, he seems to be the one who's kind of been the scapegoat and all of that. However, he's played a lot of minutes, and who were you going to replace him with a month ago? Who was healthy? You know, not very many people were healthy a month ago. So now that we're starting to have some players, some Seth Kasiplis get back from injury, you know, hopefully it gives players like Tommy McCabe a chance to grab a break, to relax a little bit, you know, rest those tired legs, and regain some confidence and some good form again. But you know, he's had a tough little time. Gotta just let him have a little bit of a break.
Maybe the club can give Alan some cleats, give him a trial contract, and he can go out there and take his attempts at giving Tommy McCabe a break in the midfield. I think Alan would do great. I could picture it right there. He'd bring it. He'd wear his drum while he's out there and just start banging it around and maybe confuse the players and maybe take someone out with a drumstick. But that would be good there. You know, in all honesty, yeah, I agree with what y'all are saying is, you know, maybe part of it is just Tommy's not being put in a position to succeed because he's being asked to do a little bit more than what he's used to doing. You know, we look at some of these players, especially players that have been in the MLS. We expect a lot out of them because they have that background. They have that pedigree. You know, they were good enough to be on an MLS roster, so they should be amazing when they come to the USL. Little do we know, the USL is a very quality league. It's not like it's a bunch of has-beens and it's a bunch of amateurs playing. There's some really quality players. So just because you've played in MLS, just because you've even had some success in MLS, doesn't mean you're going to come straight to the USL and just run the table and just score goals at will in this league. So I think part of the issues that people are having with Tommy McCabe maybe is the expectations were a little bit higher than what they should have been because he has that MLS background. And part of it too is he's just playing a dang bunch of minutes. And he's probably being asked to do some things that are not the best for him to be trying to do on the pitch. I don't know. Maybe. Dylan, any last thought before we move on? Because I want to get into a preview of this upcoming match as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of the issues we're seeing this season are basically down to us playing way too much, way too frequently. And every team has to do that. But I think waiting to start until May to try and get as many home games with fans as possible is now really, really starting to bite us. You have to factor into account some injuries and some fatigue, but at the point, like, we're playing guys every week as often as possible because that's the only option that we have at this point. I think Tommy McCabe is one of those. I think like Kobe Henry 3 weeks ago was one of those. Someone has to play there, and it should be a center back. And despite bad performance after bad performance after bad performance, you know, I never saw anyone complaining about it on Twitter or any other social medias. But he had to play. Like, someone has to play there. It's not going to be one of us because I think we all drink far too much beer to be able to run around for an hour.
I think Alan could do it. I really think he could.
I think Alan's too nice to be a true 6.
Alan would have picked the ball up and given it back to the ball boy instead of throwing it at the ball boy.
Oh, more on that later for sure.
We will definitely talk about that.
Yes.
Anyone out of the loop does not know what happened. We will talk about what Brad's referencing there. But let's go ahead and move on. Let's talk about this upcoming match. It's nice because we're in a period here where we at least are just playing one match a week for a couple weeks here. And it's a home match. It's going to be probably some extra stuff going on at the stadium because it's a anniversary match of a important event in history in the U.S. We're talking about the September 11th match against Las Vegas Lights at home. It's going to be the 20-year anniversary of what happened on September 11th, 2021. So there will be probably some stuff tied into that as far as remembrance and all that stuff. But we're here to talk about the actual match that's going to be taking place that day. Las Vegas, Orange County has been struggling against these lesser teams. I'm going to put quotes around that if you can't see it if you're not watching the video, but I'm going to put quotes against lesser teams because these are two teams. These are teams that people tend to like to make fun of when you talk about the USL, and these two teams that really aren't trying to win, but lo and behold, some of them actually do decently. I mean, we saw Real Monarchs a few seasons ago, or 2 seasons ago, I believe, come away with the championship, and we see Tacoma doing really well this season, and Orange County just seems to struggle against all of them. We've definitely dropped points to LA, to Vegas, to Tacoma. So it's difficult. And this is one of those opponents that the last time we saw them, we sort of got manhandled by Las Vegas. What are our thoughts in this match? And we're down to what? Like 10 matches left in the regular season or so. I'm not counting correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I believe, matches in the regular season. So we're sort of at a point where now you need to figure out what your final third of the season is going to be and get some wins against teams you should be winning. And this is one of those teams, right, Dylan? Orange County should be picking up 3 points against Las Vegas at home on paper.
I'm not sure I agree that that's true on paper. I think Las Vegas is a better team on form at the moment. They've had some injuries with some of the younger LAFC products. I believe one of them just tore his ACL, so he's obviously done for about the next 8 to 12 months. But we also remember that former Orange County player and now current LAFC player, Danny Crisostomo, has captained that team on a number of occasions this season. So they're not bad. They've proven to be really good once they seem to figure out how they were going to play. And that's been the case. They've given us trouble the times that we've played them. And, a 3-1 victory, I think, encapsulates that well. That being said, they are playing here. They'll be used to playing in hotter weather, but I think that
the travel is going to be nicer for them.
The travel will be nicer because it's a 30-mile drive.
They practice in the same weather.
Exactly, yeah. But they're used to probably playing in Vegas at this point and in Vegas weather. But I think the thing that'll do it here is playing on a properly sized pitch. We'll play really well into Orange County's plan. Because like I said earlier, it's play the ball to Ugo and have Brian Olofsky and Ronald Thomas run in behind. And it's hard to do that on a baseball field. It hasn't worked at all this season in Tacoma or in Vegas. But it does work well, as we saw this week against El Paso. It does work in Orange County. So if we do that, we can do well. If we try and do something weird or try and do something crazy and really shake it up, I'm not so certain.
Alan, your thoughts? Is this a match that fans should anticipate or expect Orange County to get the full 3 points when you just look at the teams as they are? Or should we not mention that these are two teams anymore? I mean, are the two teams equal to the rest of the teams in the league as far as they're putting out product trying to win the league title? I mean, that's where I look at it, right? Is a lot of the two teams seem to not be caring about the title. They just want to get their players some playing time for the most part. But it seems like Orange County just can't figure these teams out.
I mean, Vegas's last win was against Orange County. That's how long it's been since they last won. They, like Dylan said, they do have some talent, although Cal Jennings, for example, has been kind of up and down. He's been playing with LAFC occasionally. If he's down, he's a guy who can score a goal. He's a little bit magical. He's been able to put some Vegas on his back and score a goal when they needed it. But looking at the run of results for them, they led in 2 against Sacramento, 5 against San Diego, 3 against Oakland. They led in 3 against Los Dos, 2 against Tacoma, and 3 again against Sacramento. This is the team that they're down. You want to kick them when they're down. You want to just steamroll them, not let them not let them take a deep breath and try to get their legs underneath them. They are playing a midweek match against Oakland at home. So they're going to probably have some tired legs because while they have some talent, I'm not sure what their depth is like with some injuries being sustained in that Sacramento match. They're just kind of in a funk again. They kind of discovered themselves, and now they're in a terrible funk. So this is your opportunity to put them out of their misery and basically say you're not making the playoffs, and now you just got to focus on playing your kids the rest of the season. I think if Orange County gets anything but 3 points here, I think people can feel disappointed, even more disappointed than dropping points to El Paso midweek when you're up by a goal. I think losing points to Vegas at home at this point with their form is more disappointing than that. So I would say not necessarily like you must win. I think that this is a team that Orange County should be beating handily. And if they're not, then questions should be answered.
So let me go to you, Brad. So we know Las Vegas Lights are affiliated with LAFC. They play in Las Vegas, but they train in LA. So really coming to Orange County is an easier travel for the team. And also on top of that, you can maybe have some of those fringe players from the LAFC roster that maybe will be on the bench, but won't be getting minutes. I don't know if there's a game the same night. I'm not looking at anything like that, but you're going to have opportunity to give some game time because it's less travel. You don't have to pay for it. Anyway, I don't know what I'm saying here. Is there an advantage for LAFC only having to travel to Orange County instead of having to go all the way to their home field in Las Vegas? And should that concern Orange County fans? And one last question. Are you sinking? Because I feel like you're sinking lower and lower on the screen here as we're going.
I've been relaxed today. I've had a lot of scotch. To answer your original question, no, I don't think you should be concerned about how they travel. It's how is our backline going to look against Vegas? Last time we played them, I was in attendance over at Cashman Field, and it was one of those games where, one mistake led to the game kind of being over. That was the game that Nate Smith got injured in. That was the game that Eero Markkinen got injured in. And yeah, Andy says a good point. Technically, they're affiliated, not a two-team. Essentially, what that means is they have their own players on their roster, but they use a good chunk of LAFC players. But yeah, no, it shouldn't be too concerning to see some of their players come down and the travel. Both teams practice in it, but Orange County should be good.
Quick question for you, Dylan. Any worries about LAFC fans making their trip down to Championship Soccer Stadium and causing a ruckus or trying to be too noisy or outshine Caroline Coalition? Or can the home fans hold their own and be loud enough to drown out any LAFC fans that make that trip that trip down to Irvine?
I don't know if they will. I don't know if they really ever have. Beyond the few smatterings where there's 3 dudes in LAFC hats for some reason. No, even back in 2017 when the LAFC didn't exist and we were a little LAFC junior with our not great squad. And
you talking about when LAFC was loaning players to our biggest rival at the time for the championship?
No, that was 2018.
Oh, okay.
That might be a little bit on us for having so many center backs at that time. I'll have the turntables 3 years later, but I think 2017 when we had a little Open Cup run and LAFC fans would come not to cheer Orange County on, but when we'd play, let's say, the Galaxy, and they would go just to start stuff for fun because that's what they do. They still couldn't outsing us then. So this is an invitation for them to come and try, but they can come and try and fail as far as I'm concerned because no one's going to outsing us.
There we go. You heard it from the man from Caroline Coalition himself, Dylan. Let's get into our score predictions here, and then I'll give you guys the last chance to say any last thoughts on this match. I'm going to go to Dylan first for your score prediction. Dylan, what's your prediction for this match? Orange County score first, then Las Vegas.
Oh, I thought you meant Orange County will score first. I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm going to say 2-1 Orange County.
Don't we want Vegas to score first so then we can come back because it seems like that's a better shot of us winning? But you said 2-1 Orange County.
Yeah,
Let's
I
go
know,
to.
'cause-
I'll do mine next. I'm going to go 5-0 Vegas just because I feel like we need some good luck here in this match. So I'm going to just go with my fun thing that Dylan loves. I know Dylan loves it. Let's go to Brad.
Last time I predicted it was a 3-1 victory for Orange County, and the opposite happened. So I'm gonna stick to my guns and hope the opposite doesn't happen again.
I thought you were
I'm
going
not
to.
pulling a Ray. 3-1
I thought
Orange
you were going to
County.
do it. It would have been more luck for the team. So you're going 3-1 Orange County. Alan, your prediction.
Damn
Come
you,
on.
Scuba
Come
Steve. I was going to
to my side, Alan, and bring in the luck.
Las Vegas been kept to a clean sheet just twice this season. I think you just froze. I just froze. I'm back. Las Vegas has been
that San Diego internet.
Yep. They have been shut out twice only this season, so I was going to go also 3-1 or Orange County.
You can still go 3-1.
I know, but I have to like catch up. I'm going to go 4-1.
Ooh.
Going for the big score there. You notice I'm not even worried about now me catching up to anyone because I'm so far behind. So I'm just going for the luck now. I want to bring luck to Orange County, and hopefully my prediction of a 5-0 loss to Vegas will turn the table there. Let's get. Do you guys? Anyone else have a last thought about this match before we move on to some other soccer stuff?
If we lose 5-0 to Las Vegas,
Haircut.
I think that Mr. Ray Samora right here above me should be the new manager of Orange County Soccer Club. On a
Let's do it. Hey, you know what? I'm coming off a championship year with my U10 team, so I think I'm ready for it.
Yeah, he will run those players so hard.
Hasn't Ray been fired from the head coaching position of Orange County Soccer Club in a football manager scenario?
I have because yes, no, I have. It was like 5 games into my managerial career. I asked for more money. They said no, and I leaked it to the press.
Who said
that? The GM fired me on the spot because of that.
That is so funny.
So yeah, so I don't do that anymore. And anytime I restart a game, I do not leak to the press that I was denied extra funds to sign players because I wanted to go sign like Harry Kane to Orange County, but I couldn't get the funds for it. So let's but no. Hey, I was a bad coach for the longest time. We'd lose almost every match, but we're winning now. So, but I can't leave this season. I have a good team this season. I'm committed this season, but I'll join Orange County next season if need be. Let's talk about some other soccer stuff. Let's talk about what Brad sort of brought up here. The incident that happened. I don't know if it was in New Mexico or it was in New Mexico. So for those not familiar with it, I wish I had the highlight running, but ball boy has the ball, is not rushing to get the ball to the Colorado Springs player. Apparently the Colorado Springs player is upset, finally gets the ball and tosses it back at the ball boy and gets a red card, I believe. And now the league comes out with, I believe, a 2-game suspension on top of that.
1 game on top. 2 total.
Oh, okay. 2 total, whatever. What are our thoughts on this? I mean, I get it. I get why a player is going to be frustrated in that situation, but isn't that sort of what unofficially teams tell their ball boys? Hey, get the ball to your team quick, but take your time to the opponent. I mean, don't hold on to it, but don't run and get it to them. I'm not saying that that's legal or anything like that, but isn't that what happens in any football stadium? I'm going to go Dylan because Dylan's cracking up right now. I don't know if it's about this or about something else, but go for it.
No, it's absolutely about
it's about the chats going on in the background, I think, but
no, it's absolutely all about this. I thought this was the funniest thing to happen in the USL this weekend, if not this entire season. Oftentimes you make your academy kids be the ball boys, or your youth team players be the ball boys for your matches, knowing that they know how a soccer game works and they don't have any sort of issues being a part of the match in the sense of time wasting a little bit. This was so funny to me. I don't know why. I don't know. It just had to be New Mexico too, didn't it? Like, name another club that this was going to happen with.
And they were the
Just-
team that
it's perfect, man.
that were ahead and could afford the time waste. But with kids being ball boys when I was in Oakland, or really Livermore, because it was in Livermore, the opposite was true. It was actually a bunch of adults that had no idea how the game of soccer worked, and it was actually kind of funny watching adults be ball boys. And they were like the little security people you hire for your events, and watching them being like, "Do I give the ball to a player yet?"
What I think actually happened was the kid was telling the player that he was starting on his school's dodgeball team, and he was just helping him practice. And unfortunately, forgot.
Well, then why did the player pull out a wrench and throw it at him?
Yeah,
Because you
this
can
kid
dodge a
could
wrench,
not
you dodge
dodge
a ball.
wrench. He could not dodge traffic. If you made that kid beeline across 6 lanes of traffic, he's gonna get hit.
Now
Yeah,
we know what
so-
kind of dodgeball teams Alan has been coaching out there in his middle school.
Because the kid was not well prepared. Clearly the player just pointed out to the rest of the kids' dodgeball team that he should be on the bench. But no, in all fairness, like we talked about this last year with a certain incident with a certain Phoenix player and a certain Orange County coach. Like I get that things run hot on a pitch, but there's just certain things that you can't do, and you shouldn't have to explain. Don't chuck balls at ball boys. It's usually frowned upon in most leagues.
Alan, I gotta ask you this on top of that.
Yep.
Is this something that your middle schoolers would be able to comprehend? Do not chuck the ball at a ball boy.
You would think so. Although there was one time where a kid passed a pencil to the back of the room without getting up, and the principal's in the room. So there was that. It should be something that they can comprehend. That if you talk to them ahead of time, like guys, there's a few rules. Don't use your hands. Don't
chuck a ball at someone.
No studs up into the shins. Don't throw balls at the ball boy. I think those are all things that are kind of covered as things that you probably shouldn't do.
I just love this kid had perfect form on the time wasting. He kind of just picked up a ball, turned around, rolled the other ball, held on to the ball he picked up, and then, oh, you want this one? Let me just slowly toss it to you.
It was the exact opposite of corner taking quickly. This was like corner taking agonizingly slowly is how this corner would be announced from a Premier League play-by-play.
But again, it's one of those things, right? It's sort of the unwritten rule. If you're a ball boy, is you help your home team, and you don't like maliciously do something to the opposing team, but you just, you get the ball to them. You just might not rush to do it.
It's like the Ugo Coli from a couple weeks ago, like slowly clapping to the fans as he walks off the pitch. Like people do that all the time. They're like, oh, I'm just taking out my shin guards. Hold on, I got subbed out, but I'm just taking off my shin guards. Or I know I'm being subbed out and I wasn't cramping, but right now my shin. Like, yes, there is that gamesmanship. And what the player should have done is pointed out that the ball boy was wasting time, and then the official could have put some extra time on at the end. But this just makes you look like a jerk. And unfortunately, I'm sure the player is incredibly embarrassed. And like the 2-game suspension is punishment enough. The national embarrassment of him, that replay happening over and over again, is surely punishment enough. I will guarantee that he would probably never do it again. And if he has to do it again, he's probably throwing the ball at a coach or something. But yeah, pretty embarrassing. But
only after
you left out an important person when you went through some of that list there, Alan, and that's Miko in Phoenix, cramping up like a couple times, and then when he's about to come out, actually cramped up. I spoke to him the next week, and it was it was the gamemanship the first couple times, and then when he actually came out of the match, that was an actual cramp that he got, and it was like, hey, that's what I get for sort of slowing things down a little bit earlier in the match or whatever, right? So, that was very interesting. It's one of those things. Again, it shouldn't have to be told to anyone. You should just know, hey, don't throw a soccer ball at a kid. Don't throw it at anyone to begin with, but don't throw it at. If you're a grown man playing a sport professionally, making money, you don't throw a ball at a kid, regardless of what they do. You just have to have that restraint there. You also don't go and like shove a head coach like Dylan was bringing up from last season.
That was
Alan did. You guys all look the same, so that's why.
This is true.
You got the same hair, you got the same facial hair, all that stuff.
Have we considered that this was not a kid that was seriously harmed? It's not like someone kicked him in the chest. This was not an Eden Hazard. So he wasn't hurt. Have we considered how funny this is?
He should now have some injury and he should sue the player.
Well.
Like, a player threw a ball at a kid because he was pissed. That's almost as funny as a player shoving a coach because he's pissed.
So now we know, don't let Dylan
There's
play
a
professional
hierarchy.
soccer with your kid nearby because he will chuck the ball at your kid's face.
You are implying that I would make it far enough into a game to have to time waste, as if I wouldn't get sent off for 2-footing someone for daring to look me the wrong way in the 30th minute.
Hey, at least you'd make it 30 minutes.
Note to self: don't play pickup with Dylan.
Alan would cramp up in the 3rd minute.
Cramp. Yeah, when I'm warming up on the sideline because I know I'm not getting in. That's so I was like, can I be the 6th sub? Can I be the 6th sub? Like, I'm only going in for like a couple minutes when someone gets a concussion and that's it. Like, I'm tapped out. I just want to wear the cool vest. Like, I'm and like
on the bright side, Alan has the best orange
sideways. You know, be the
And
guy
I
who
guess
like,
Andy's
yells at the
pointing out-
ref.
Andy, listening to us on the live stream, is pointing out that the ball boy was like 16 and like as tall as the players. So maybe, but still, it's, in the eyes of the law, it's still a minor, right? I mean, you're inflicting violence on a minor. Hey, Alan, if you were at the stadium, would you be mandated to report that a child was abused by an adult?
I mean, maybe. I maybe. I'd be a lot of paperwork.
Now, would you do it? Let me ask you, would you actually do your mandated duty?
I was looking at the drum. There was like a lug that was loose, and I totally missed it. I don't know what happened. What happened? Did someone?
But I mean, under if this happened in California, and if you're a mandated reporter, is that something that legally you have to report because someone's like inflicting violence or harm against a child, even though he's 16 or 17?
I will refer this question to my attorney, and they will get back to you.
All right, so we'll wait for this answer. Alan's going to check in with his attorney, so next week we'll remember to ask this question again after he spent $150 for his attorney's advice on this question. Any other soccer-related stuff anyone wants to bring up before we wrap things up today? All right, I'll take that as a no because there's a bunch of silence there. We'll go to our random thoughts. I'm going to actually kick things off for the random thoughts because I don't want anyone to steal my random thought. Even though I don't think anyone will, I don't want them to do it, so I'm just going to say this. As any of you that has watched this episode today, we've seen numerous times throughout the episode an up-close picture of Dylan's hands and his fingers. So we know he's in desperate need of a manicure. So if you have any recommendations for Dylan to get a manicure, go ahead and let us know on Twitter and share that with us so that we can relay that information to him because he desperately needs it. Dylan, go ahead. Your random thought.
I think my random thoughts, I don't need a manicure. No, these hands work well. These nails are fine. Yeah, good to go here.
Treat yourself,
right.
Dylan. Just treat yourself.
Seriously, right? We're trying to find a good place for you to go and get treated with a nice, relaxing manicure, get your fingers did up, maybe get some paint on them.
If I want to be treated, I want a beer recommendation that doesn't suck. Because
that doesn't taste like Diet Right and pickle juice.
Man, what a scam.
It's gold medal winning, Dylan.
Yeah, well, I don't know. This is a lame Olympic event. I'll put it that way.
Okay, Brad, your turn.
I think I'm like fresh out of ideas. I guess my random thought will be, it's always nice to see family and to have a really good long weekend with them. But man, I guess the hangover of, all that excitement and not having it anymore kind of sucks. I kind of had a day today where I had such a good weekend with my family and then they all left and it's like, well, now what? I'm all by myself again.
Drink lots of scotch.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Now we are getting DMCA'd.
No, that's why we
nope.
were singing off pitch.
Yep, I was.
And different melodies.
Yep.
Oh,
Alan and
thought that was
Alan
just,
and I have
our
the
lack
same
of
thought there
singing
when we're
ability.
going with that. Man, we know what we're doing. Alan, your random thought besides some random singing of a
Yeah.
tune that we're not going to mention.
So my random thought is our podcasting friend Chris Walker has started a all-inclusive supporters group in New Mexico called Black Diamonds. And currently he is doing a fundraiser. You can pre-order a shirt or you can pre-order it and then donate it to one of the kids that he is hoping to help connect to the sport of soccer in the New Mexico community. If you go to Black Diamonds NM, so Black Diamonds NM on the social medias, you can find the pre-order form. They are up to 65 and their 65 shirts sold. Their goal is 150 shirts. And basically the shirt is highlighting a lot of the black players that have played for New Mexico United. So if you're not wanting to necessarily wear that shirt, you can donate it back and still help him. Basically, he just wants to teach soccer to at-risk youth in the community. And he has started this himself. He's been kind of building it from the ground up. And this is what the soccer community is all about, is supporting people who are trying to make a difference in their communities. So check it out. Again, Black Diamonds NM. So it's in New Mexico. The link is kind of a couple tweets down. You can order the shirt or you can order it and donate it. They're up to 65 out of 150. So let's help to get them to 150.
Perfect. And will he throw in some like free hatch chili with every order?
Maybe. He's talking about trying to ship me some hatch chilies out here. So if they make their way out,
Oh, dude, if he ships you some, tell him that I want in on that. I need some of that stuff over here. Send it my way too.
What am I, a mule now?
And also tell him to ship out some of the Bob's Taco Burgers or Burger Tacos or whatever they're called.
You're only a mule if you put it in a plastic bag, swallow it, and then bring it north.
Have you ever pooped a balloon?
You don't want to know about Alan's college days. We don't want to hear about that right now. So let's not even get into that story right there.
Especially with
let's wrap things up here because we're
OG.
This is like old school Orange and Black SoccerCast here, where we start getting to some really, really random, weird
After dark
stuff. Yeah, we still need to do that, Dylan. We're gonna figure out a way to make that happen. Maybe that can go on to OnlyFans or something. Really quick, for Dylan, for Alan, for Brad. This is Ray. This has been the Orange and Black SoccerCast, and we are out.